The new setup is here, and I thought I would have some fun in this video. The first one with the new setup. Just need to get the frames up, but that'll happen ASAP, guys. But I have been inspired by some US sport content creators who are putting together different teams, lineups with different permutations, rules, and I thought, what can we do in an AFL setting? And I thought to myself, there are 18 starting positions on a footy field. There are 18 clubs. One player per club. Pretty self-explanatory. If you liked the video, comment changes you would make, your own team. All of that good stuff I try to reply to as much as I can. Let's get into it, I reckon. The three easiest picks for mine is the full back line. Tom Stewart, Tom Barrass, James Sicily. Because who else are you putting in here? Jeremy Cameron for the Cats, maybe? I can't think of another Eagle that maybe belong here. You might think Jeremy McGovern for the longevity, maybe, but the best ability is availability, and I like Barrass's availability a little bit better. And which other Hawk are you picking? And I'm a Hawks fan. James Sicily is the only player that I would argue is top 6, top 8 in his position. Yes, Will Day won the best and fairest. Is he a top 8 mid in the competition? No, neither's Jai. I mean, Dylan Moore is probably a top 6 half-forward flanker, and I would argue no one loves Dylan Moore more than I do, but shout out to Liam at Talking Hawks, who is a comfortable second in the Dylan Moore-loving sweepstakes. But for my Geelong, West Coast, Hawthorn, they're out early. Sorry to fans of those teams who maybe wanted their players in a different spot, but I don't see how you can go anyone else in these 3 spots. So if you've got a team that differs from mine already, please let me know what it is. Now we can get controversial. Half-back line. Dan Houston, Stephen May, Nick Dacos. Now, the Dacos one's pretty self-explanatory. Oh, but he played more midfield time, Daz. Yeah, okay, shoot me if you want to. Doesn't bother me. But Dan Houston's an interesting one, because Port Adelaide, you might think Butters, you might think Rosie, you might be a massive fan of Charlie Dixon, maybe, if you want to go down that path. I don't really think there's another Port Adelaide player in contention here, but I think Butters is the one that people might get a little bit about, and I will address that when we get to the midfield spot. I love Dan Houston, one of the more underrated players, I believe, in the AFL. And Stephen May, again, you're probably going to look at and go, wow, really? Petrarca's there, Oliver's there, regardless of what you think of his situation, which is none of our business in the slightest. I get that from here on out, any changes you would make would fundamentally change the team, but that's why I find this so fun. And of course, picking players that you like as well is a good thing, and I don't really care about Stephen May's off-field indiscretions, if you will. I think he's a mighty fine centre-half back, and I'm proud to have him in my team. The centre line, Errol Goulden, Marcus Bontempelli, Noah Anderson. Now, again, you could argue, do you put an Ed Langdon on the wing and change out Sam Collins, for Noah Anderson maybe? Again, Sam Collins, a guy I'm a massive fan of, and Noah Anderson did play a bit more midfield time, but I am putting that down to the fact that Touk Miller was injured for most of the year. Yes, Miller, Rowell, and maybe Flanders is probably their best 3, because I truly believe that Noah Anderson and Josh Dacos and Errol Goulden are going to make up the All-Australian wing spots for hopefully as long as they can, if the All-Australian selectors prove that having 2 wingmen in the side wasn't just a fluke. Now, I don't think anything can be said about Errol that hasn't been said already. Whether you're a Tom McCartan fan, you want to put him down back, that would be a really interesting way to go about this. Didn't really come into my consideration. You've also got Tom Papley as your small forward. Can completely understand if you want to go down that path. But I want good ball users in this team, and the 2 wingers do it beautifully, and the Bont as well. I mean, what can you say about the Bont that hasn't already been said? The man is a superstar, and there is not one other Bulldog I even came close to considering. I think Sicily was my first pick, and Bont was my second. So take that for what you will. Yes, Aaron Norton, maybe if you've got more faith in Cody Waitman than maybe I've seen at the moment, although I hope that he can have a real breakout year, Cody. But I just think the Bont belongs here, doesn't he? And that is a centre line, and that is a wingman and a centreman that you can really build a team around, as essentially I've done in this case. I should say. So that's my centre line, and let's quickly and swiftly, call it Taylor style, into the ruck line. And I think this is where we're going to get maybe more comments disagreeing. Because I'm going Rowan Marshall along with Zach Merritt and Caleb Sarong. Now, let's start with the Butters thing I spoke about earlier. So you might have Jordan Ridley on a half-back flank, and then you'll have Butters in the midfield. So you're able to swap, take Merritt and Houston out, and then you'll be able to put Butters and Ridley in. Now, the reason why I didn't do this in probably more team selection, match committee way than anything else, I think Ridley and Sicily in the same side doesn't really serve that much of a purpose. You could argue Sicily and Stewart, but I think Stewart's ability to still lock down one-on-one a hell of a lot better than Sis can, and I love Sis. That dynamic works really well, and I think Dan Houston's genuine rebounding ability, we know what Nick Dacos can do, and of course Stephen May will lock down most tall forwards in the competition. I feel like this is just the betterment of my side, and like Goulden, Anderson, Bontempelli, Zach Merritt is just a gorgeous kick of the footy. So that was my reasoning. So if you disagree, at least you know where I stand. Caleb Sarong, a victim of a star in his position, but again, Freo didn't have a whole lot of options. Luke Ryan, Brennan Cox were two I considered. You could put Luke Ryan in the Ridley category, as it didn't really work with Sicily in there as well. Brennan Cox, definitely a consideration if you want to take Sarong and May out, and you want to put, say, Brennan Cox and Christian Petrarca in. I've got no qualm about that. I don't really have an argument for you if you want to bring that to the table in the comment section below. I just went with guys that I love. I love Caleb Sarong, and I'm probably the only person outside of Freo supporters that loved Anthony Hudson's Sarong Sarite, because I love puns. And if you don't like puns, you're not going to want to watch my next video, which I'm pretty sure is the opposite of a teaser trailer. And of course, Rowan Marshall. Where's Jack Sinclair, maybe? Max King, if you're a massive fan. But again, Jack Steele, who I've loved for many a year, as every St Kilda supporter has. I think Rowan Marshall might be my favourite St Kilda player. Maybe that's a video. Do you want my favourite player at every club? Spoiler alert, St Kilda is going to be Rowan Marshall. I think he's the All-Australian ruckman this year. I really do. I think he came pretty close to being maybe a second ruckman in that side, in the All-Australian side. I don't really have a qualm that he didn't make it, so there's no real stress there on my shoulders, but what he brings to the table around the ground is fantastic. I think his ruck work is actually the underrated part of his game. I still think he can hit the scoreboard a little bit more, but no player is perfect. He is pretty damn close to being a superstar, though, and that's why he's my ruckman. Ruck was pretty difficult. You could have Witts here. You could have Gawn here, of course, if you want a St Kilda centre-half back or to restructure the side completely. I love this centre line. I mean, I love the side. It's why I picked it, but I can completely understand with anything that you may disagree with. But if it's because you don't think Rowan Marshall is a good footballer, you're wrong. It's your opinion. Your opinion can't be wrong, can it? Yes, it can, and this would be one of them. So Rowan Marshall's a star. I love him, and I love this centre line of Marshall, Merritt, and Sarong. If we're at this point, you're actually keeping track of which teams are left. First of all, Lord bless you for that. That would be amazing. But let's get to the half-forward line, in which we have Shea Bolton, we have Charlie Curnow, and we have Toby Green. Do I really need to explain any of these? Which other Richmond player are you putting here? Exactly. Toby Green, it was him or Sam Taylor. And Bailey Fritsch could have been put in this spot. And you could put Sam Taylor back. What is it with Sam's? There's centre-half back. Sam Collins, Sam Taylor. Love those two lads. Anyway, I don't think I need to explain the Toby Green one. I would have him captaining my side. Few captains in this. Merritt, Sicily as well. I hope I haven't missed anyone. Bont, of course. But Toby and Bontempelli are probably my captain, vice-captain. I love the way Toby leads from the front with his performance and his ability to impact games. He and Shea Bolton could kick 80 between them in this kind of side. And what would that leave for Charlie Curnow is a very interesting question. I think he's got more athletic ability than the full forward of this side, which is why he's the centre-half forward. But I've also never really understood the whole, he only won the Coleman because he beat up on bad defenders. And it's like, that's what he's meant to do. Yeah, like, you understand that. But, like, man, social media sucks. Like, Charlie beat up on these guys. So he should. It's not his fault Carlton got West Coast and I think maybe North twice last year. He doesn't pick that. You still got to cash in. He cashed in. Hawthorn copped criticism for beating West Coast by 20 goals as if it doesn't matter. And then Essendon beat West Coast by like a point. And all of a sudden, they got criticised for not beating them by enough. So at the end of the day, Charlie, take your Colemans, which I know you will, and don't give a shit about what anyone else says. I'm with you. That wasn't the rant I was expecting to go on when I announced my half-forward line, but it's where we are now. So 3 different states to finish off this side. South Australia with Isaac Rankin, Victorian with Nick Larkey, and Queensland with Charlie Cameron. Again, I don't really think I have to explain this one too much. Charlie's a proven performer. I don't think I've changed my mind about a player as quickly with Isaac Rankin as I have, except the man that will hold that title forever, Jack Riewoldt, who I absolutely couldn't stand until about 2013, and then he became one of my favourite players with how selfless he became and how mature he became, and he was one of those Richmond guys who, even though I'm not a Richmond person in terms of a fan, I'm not a Richmond supporter, and having been around a lot of Richmond fans in the last sort of 5-10 years, they're easy to barrack against in terms of success-wise, and this is coming from a Hawthorn supporter. I know we are the exact same. So as long as you acknowledge that we're on the same playing field, Dynasty supporters are god-awful to talk to, not only during, but sometimes afterwards, so don't stress there. But I love Isaac Rankin. I do, and it's a complete flip, and if Smithy is watching this, the first subscriber to Daz Talks Footy, he will be messaging me thusly, saying I told you so. But Charlie Cameron, proven performer, and Nick Larkey is in a completely shit team. Kicked a lot of goals. I think their second highest goal kicker last year north was Jaden Stevenson with like 24, 29, 24, 29 sounds right. Extraordinary season from Nick Larkey. But that's it, guys. 18 clubs, 18 positions. Put your side together, comment it down below. Or if you only want to make 1 or 2 changes to mine, put them in the comments as well. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe to join the Daz Talks Footy family. Hope you like the new setup. Can't wait to get the frames up if I can. I'll see you in the next video, which will be something about all 18 clubs again. But I'm working on something that I hope YouTube doesn't keep copywriting, because I think it's going to be something that will revolutionize this channel and take it to another level. So I can't wait to show you that if I can. Stay safe, guys. Stay absolutely legendary. Stay cool as we finally start to get some summer temperature here in Victoria. Stay safe, be well, and I'll see you in the next one.